Nice to see you again.
Hey, good to see you again.
Yeah. It's so nice, Matt. Today topic is I would say it's a happy topic, and I will quote Pharrell. Well, Pharrell
Yeah.
with the song "Happy," and the one of the parts that I really like the most of this song. It's it doesn't matter if you're having getting bad news to me. Just let it be. Let it be. I won't be offended if you have bad news. I won't be offended if you're
Mm.
not having a good day. Because one of the most important things, and I think in that song, is because happiness is up to you,
Yeah.
And once you get to define what
Uh-huh.
is happiness, now you have the option and the opportunity to pursue the happiness. And that will be a great topic to talk today, Matt.
Yeah. No, I like that. I was writing down the idea of happiness as a choice then. If that sounds like you're coming at it from a position of, happiness is something we can potentially choose to feel or to be, right? But I particularly like how you framed it through redefining happiness. And again, not that this is, everything has to be about entrepreneurship and innovation, but one of the approaches in innovation is if not redefining, at least understanding the problem, and in this case, happiness. I like the approach, and I'm kind of curious to hear from you. How would you go about reframing happiness? Like, I know you've got a little start in the intro, but what would be your process to reframing happiness?
Yeah, and thank you for that question. And I think that's a very good starting point, because sometimes we take for granted lots of things in our life. We take
Mm-hmm.
for granted that happiness it's like the perfect emotional state to be.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we think that happiness it's the absence of worries, the
Mm-hmm.
absence of stress or distress, or sometimes we think that happiness is the realization and the feeling of having everything under control, or maybe having everything in our life as economic success or professional development. But one of the reasons of having this show today it's that it's really important just to let yourself um, get a sense of what is happiness to you. What is
Mm-hmm.
the happiness that you are looking into your life? What is the happiness that you are even sharing with others? But first of all, let's understand it happiness in terms basically of the fulfillment of your life. And this is like the gas in your car.
Mm-hmm.
uh, how do you fill the gas? How do you put gas? How much? How often?
Mm-hmm.
What quality? You can put the standard, premium, or super
Yeah.
premium quality. Basically it's up to you. And because happiness is a personal stuff, that actually goes to the society.
Mm-hmm.
uh, it cannot be disconnected. You cannot disconnect personal happiness and others people happiness, community happiness, citizenship happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to give, I don't know, this is my ideas. I would say this is like my 5 cents in this stuff. Is how do I started this process myself, and about defining happiness. The first stuff is just to take your notebook. I'll rather prefer a pencil and a traditional stuff, and just make a list of what is happiness to you. Yeah, we are not really finding it yet. But yeah, what is happiness to you? How do you feel? How do you know that you're happy? When do you feel happy? What do you need to be happy, and what you don't need to be happy? I would say that four questions is very easy. Um, Once you fill the blanks, let's say, oh my God, this is my definition today. Pretty
Mm-hmm.
much it's like a group of many concepts, but this is what I have today.
Mhm.
But the invitation just to you that you are looking this video, you are watching the video is, okay, let's redefine that concept. And let's redefine that concept, no, not based on assumptions, even not based on beliefs, and let's try to refine this on things that we know. So basically we know, and that's the other part of the story is, how do I know that I'm happy? In what specific moments I do know that my wife, my brother, my mother, my son, my
Mhm.
daughter
Mhm.
are happy. Uh, because one thing that you can say very sure and very for sure is that when somebody's happy. You feel it. You sense it in the air. Um, and based on that, let's try to create a definition that you can use in terms of make operational changes in
Mhm.
your life. Not just create a cool billboard for your office, or no, it's a definition that you can take to the operational side of your life. It doesn't matter, and I would say it's not mandatory stuff that you have to believe in certain religion or movement or one very specific philosopher, Socrates, Descartes, Platon. No, it's not that. Maybe, of course, if that happened, that you have read these guys, maybe it's easier just to get into the um, writing stuff.
Sure.
It's not a mandatory stuff. Um, so that's our my kind of initial thoughts before
Mhm.
getting into the process of reframing the concept.
Framing. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's helpful, but just kind of, yeah, definitely. And it's, I think, to go along with what you're saying, the idea that it's elusive, or it can change, right? Like, and it's maybe your idea of what happiness is, or I liked how you were framing it also, like where it is or when it happens, right? So it's multidimensional. And if you can start understanding all the aspects of happiness, including, and I liked some of the others that you mentioned, not just the when it happens and where, but also the who, right? Who does, who affects your happiness? So when we're looking at redefining or reframing this word, being able to make sure you're looking at it from all of these different, I was gonna say angles, but really they're these different questions, right? These different, the who's, the whens, the wheres. Um, but also, just as far as, it's interesting too. You mentioned, how do you know when someone else is happy, and then you went on to explain that. And I think that's one of the reasons it's such a great question to pursue here, or not just a question, but an idea to pursue about finding happiness, or is there's so much use anybody can get out of it, right? At any point. So no, but what I was going to say is specifically about this is the how you know someone else is happy, is that happiness isn't, why it's such a worthy pursuit, is that happiness isn't something that you do selfishly, right? It's something that you want to share. And the idea that in your discussion of happiness, and reframing it, that you're also cognizant of how other people feel, if that happiness is being reciprocated with them, or if they are feeling happiness, then how does your behavior change with that? So I found that really interesting, as far as the approach.
Yeah, Matt. Yeah, but before, of course, getting into the details of this,
Yeah.
um, how important, Matt, that you have a lot of experience working with people in different workshops,
Mhm.
of course, different lectures as well, about the
Yeah.
curiosity.
Yeah.
And I would love to hear from you uh, your personal experience, actually,
Yeah.
when you are working with people that oh my God, this guy or this lady, she's really really happy, and when I'm working with her,
Mhm.
but sometimes you find people same exercise, same concepts,
Hmm.
even same and conditions,
Hmm.
but you know that for some reason this person is not in a happy mood.
Yeah.
How it changed the approach to the curiosity learn model? It
Yeah.
changed a lot. Actually, it does
Well,
change. Does it change?
sure. Well, it does definitely has effects. Like I think it's difficult to be unhappy and curious at the same time, right? And I don't know if I've ever met someone who's really. I think every curious. I mean, you can be curious. Maybe you can be curious and maybe unhappy, right? But I think every happy person I've met, like truly happy person, is also just genuinely curious, or kind of that wonderment. And when you're at least in the stuff that I do, kind of the more intentional curiosity with some of the curiosity based learning processes, the processes are designed to put people into a very specific state, like mental state. It may not look like it on paper, but that's what they're designed to do. And one of those things that pulls from some of the reading and my understanding of happiness, let's say, right? So what we do with the curiosity-based learning processes is we work to activate the curiosity in a way that gets people focused purely on the moment, right? Or the question,
Okay.
right? By doing these what ifs, we talked about that third space and all these other things, but the way that the questions in the curiosity-based learning or innovation processes are structured are to put them into this place. So the things that happened in the past or the things that are going to happen in the future, right, are kind of on the sidelines, or the things that they were thinking about before, or the distractions, right? So it puts them in these kind of intense moments, but they're short, they're brief sprints, again, like exercise terms, right? And by doing that, I don't know if we can say we achieve happiness, but we definitely we alter the overall feeling, and it's through that curiosity. You may, because when you're curious, as we've discussed, you may feel less than positive feelings like anxious or scared or something like this because you don't know what's going to happen. But it's definitely not unhappy. There's kind of a thrill to it. Yeah. So curiosity, yeah, I think it definitely. And then the contagious aspect of curiosity, as you get more curious, and it leads. Remember, it goes from curiosity to discovery, and discovery isn't just an action, but it's an emotion, right? That's that opening up the Christmas present or your birthday present and seeing what's inside, right? And that's a very positive feeling. So when you've got this momentum going from curiosity to discovery to curiosity to discovery, I can't say all this, it's a magic pill and all of a sudden you're no longer, unhappy, but it definitely can be enough distraction, let's say, in the very least, to keep you focused. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting, Matt. And I was taking some notes as well. Um, and I think what I will start with the first one, and
Hmm.
it's something very really powerful that you just said,
Hmm.
uh, and it's the genuity of the curiosity.
Hmm.
Uh, because if you are not happy, of course, and we need that you are curious on a, of course, in a positive way, and being it what's the word exactly? Genuinely, genuity.
Uh, for which one? For I'm sorry.
I'll say for curiosity, when you are in a state of happiness,
Yeah,
is I would say is genuine things, is genuine stuff. Oh my god,
generative. Yeah.
what?
Do you say generative or genuine? Because it could
Genuine, genuine, genuine,
genuine. Oh yeah, all right,
yeah,
perfect.
genuine,
Genuine is where I go. Yeah,
genuine.
all right, perfect. So
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's the key
It's a
word.
genuine curiosity,
Yeah, yeah. Genuine.
because one
And
of the good stuff about your being happy is that you are a genuine people, a genuine person.
yep,
Uh,
you can't fake it. Yeah.
you can fake it,
Ah,
but at the
yep.
same time, it's, oh my god, if I'm not in the mood of
Yep.
happiness, I will be like an artificial happiness, and
Yep.
this artificial happiness uh, will take you, I don't know, to artificial curiosity. It will
Yeah.
take you to artificial experiences, because it's not for real. It's something that you are making up.
if if I could go back, even you nailed it with this word, the genuine, right?
Okay.
And I was gonna say, I'll take you back even before what if, when I was an English professor, and we
Okay.
were talking. Yeah, no, but you mentioned something about and again, this is pre what if, but we were talking about things like, so what if happiness? Because we'd read, long story, but what if happiness isn't achievable? What if it's fool's gold, right? Um, in fact, not only is it not achievable, but it's not really what you want anyway.
Okay.
And the idea is, and I know we don't have, trust me, takes longer than 8 minutes to unpack, but the idea is that you don't want happiness. What you really want are genuine moments. And
Okay.
see, and the idea is see, because when you think of happy, that just means it's dessert for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? It's ice cream for it's ice cream for breakfast, and it's pancakes for lunch, and it's just candy all the time. But what you really want is genuine moments. And then you kind of know that even if things aren't quote unquote happy, if they're genuine, if they're real, if it's without fakeness, then there's value in it. Even if it's something sad, or even if it's change, or even if it's something out of your control, if it's genuine, you realize it's part of life, right? And then that builds on something bigger that you can see, feel, and everything else. But so yeah, that's why I was getting excited when you said genuine. It made me think back of that's personally, that's how I would redefine happiness, is how do we get it closer to a focus of genuine experiences over happiness. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Oh my God, I would say this is something that is so powerful. The way you put it now, that it totally worth just to write the chapter of the book, just in that and developing that concept. I'm talking for real. The second stuff that I was paying attention very close, it's about being in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of philosophers, uh, religions, movements.
Mm-hmm.
Um, One of the things that they agree, it's the importance to be here, to be in the now, to
Mm-hmm.
be in the today, to be in the control of your life, and the only and and I will go to our previous talk. The
Yeah.
only space where you have the control, and the only box, if you want to put it in there, of the only space and the infinite, where when you have the option to decide, it's now.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the past it
Mm-hmm.
happened. It's not anymore, and in the future it hasn't.
Yeah.
So maybe, so for real, you cannot define the future. You can control the present. So basically you can decide now, today,
Mm-hmm.
and now, in this specific moment,
Mm-hmm.
uh, to let the happiness and be genuine about everything now.
Yeah.
If you're maybe, if for some reason you think, oh my God, I'll be a genuine person tomorrow.
That's great.
No. Yeah. Or I will write my biography, and I will write that I was a genuine person, even if I wasn't. No, no, it's something that you can fake. So basically, this is very important to uh, get the sense that now, if you are watching the video, if you are even thinking, it means that you have life,
Yeah.
that you have the option to be a rational being,
Mm.
an emotional being as well. Even if you are alone, if you are with your family, that's a reality today, not
Mm-hmm.
yesterday, not tomorrow. So basically, you get to define. Okay, oh my God, it's a genius thing. As basically, it's a genuine thing that it's happening right now. My condition. So it's a genuine condition. It's not fake. It's
Mhm.
for real. I know that I'm here, and I can control what I do now,
Mhm.
and what I do now in order to let myself be in the process of the discovery of emotions and the discovery of the reasons to be alive in the next hour, in the next day. Now you are getting into the point where you know what is happiness to you. No,
Exactly.
once you know what is happiness to you, nothing can disturb your happiness.
Yeah.
Even very very hard moments, even very very hard conditions around the world, because all of those things that are happening right now, it's just illusional,
Yeah.
you are not the one creating that. I'm sure that you're listening to if you're watching this video, you are not the guy who created the COVID-19. And I'm sure that if you're looking at this video, you are not the guy uh, who let your grandpa uh, die on a hospital bed.
Mm.
So basically, those stuff are out of your control.
Mhm.
You're you are in control of your. I would put it like that. You are in control of your life. You are in control of yourself
So,
today. And
yeah.
if you get the opportunity to say, "Oh my God, I will get into the process of my personal discovery
Mhm.
and start to discover what are my reasons beyond the traditional stuff: money, family,
Yeah.
sons, see the tree, write a book, a perfect body, and a fit guy. That are traditional stuff. Let yourself to get so deep in the process.
Mhm.
Maybe this will take you to tears.
Mm.
Don't worry, it's normal. We are human beings, and this is so emotional that maybe you will feel strange. But once you get into this process, it's not just that you are getting happiness to you, as we started this conversation, it's that you are creating happiness to the world. You are creating happiness to the company where you are working. You are
Mhm.
creating happiness to the team that you are working with. And if you are in this process, and if you want to take this concept to
Mm.
improve the life of others, maybe creating stuff, maybe creating the next Google, the next Amazon, the next Alibaba, uh, do it for a reason, for a good reason, and find the why. And once you find the why, like Simon Sheck, that's the name.
Cynic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Simon Sinek. Yeah.
Simon Sinek said, "Oh my God, you are aligned. I would say with the universe, with God,
Mm.
with all, but it doesn't matter the religion that you have, but and you are in the way to find
Mm.
your answer. Basically, um, we are not the guys
Mhm.
saying, "Oh my God, this is the definition." No, let yourself feel it,
Mm.
sense it, even tear it if you want it, and
Well,
everything will be better.
yeah.
And why, Matt, I proposed you to went into this
Mhm.
topic, um, because I would say this is one of the basics stuff that we need in our companies, in our governments, in our cities, in our community, before. And I think this is something that you get before
Mhm.
getting into the process of building stuff. Um
Well,
and one thing that, for example, I do myself with my students, with my customers,
mhm.
it's the first moment of everything, a consultancy project, a classroom, even on Vimeo, YouTube, and whatever. It's okay. Let's find the time to let ourselves to be happy about this.
Sure.
If you came here uh, obligated or because it was a mandatory stuff, oh my God, let yourself be happy about yourself, that you're alive, that you're breathing, that you are even if you are sick, because you can be sick and you can be happy. That's something. It doesn't have to be black and white.
Yeah.
You can have both. Um, that was my and the reason I wanted to talk about this topic today, Matt.
Yeah.
But what are your? I don't know. I'm sure you have a lot of ideas.
No, no, no. I got lots of ideas, and it's just great hearing from you on all of this. It's really inspiring and motivating me more just to to seek this happiness. And I guess that's one is just to add to the list of this is to pursue happiness, right? That's the big thing. Is it's like, even if you don't find, I mean, I say, eventually you'll find it, or even if it's elusive, or even if it changes, or even if you struggle, that there is happiness or satisfaction just in the pursuit of doing it. So even if, like you said, even if you're sick or even if you fail, the fact that you're actively doing something to find that happiness, to achieve that happiness, I think is important, and in a win of itself. It's something, it has value, I should say, of itself. And then the other thing is what you were mentioning there about, starting with the happiness, even from a business perspective, is happy, or happy builders build happy products or happy things, and it's reflective. So I think there's a very direct motivation, or should be motivation, for whether they're the CEOs or project directors, that the level of happy, they should be in tune, not just to the progress of the project, but to the level of happiness of their team. I think that should be a focus, not just at the start, but throughout the life of a project. And some of this comes from my background in education. So again, before, in entrepreneurship is an education, and a lot of and I laugh to say innovative education, because a lot of the innovation education has been around for half a century now. It's just nobody uses it, right? One of the core concepts is to get, to be a more effective teacher, is to be aware of the feelings of the students. So you want to have happier students. You want to be, and happy isn't necessarily the word, but more comfortable. The more comfortable the students are, the more they want to be there. The less they feel threatened or coerced, or all of these negative feelings, the more they're able to learn. So a lot of innovative teaching methods is we're focused, as much as we're focused on the learning objectives, we're focused on the happiness or the feelings of the students. So it just made me smile as well, because how does that apply to the business world? Well, what if our workers, or what if we focused on the happiness of our workers through the life of a project or something like this? There's a lot of parallels or connections here. So
Yeah, no, that's so
yeah,
deep, Matt, and so powerful. That's the reasons we are having this conversation, is
yeah,
just to motivate people, not just to take for granted what we say, but to think beyond the traditional stuff and think beyond the traditional precognition that we have in our uh, heads.
yeah.
And just I just want to close this with two very simple examples.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is, if you recall, the founding fathers of the U.S. And even the Constitution of the U.S. This has happiness and gold letters,
Yeah.
um, as a right, as a
Well,
right of
the
people.
pursuit of happiness is a right, they say.
The
Yeah.
pursuit of our happiness is a right, of
Yeah.
course. And this is I would say, a thing like 300 years ago,
Yeah.
200,
Yeah.
200 something. Um, but if you go very, 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 very back in time, you will find persons like Plato, like
Mm-hmm.
Aristotle,
Mm-hmm.
like Buddha,
Mm-hmm.
like Mohammed,
Yeah.
different guys, different
Yeah.
stuff. And every one of them talking about the not just the importance, the angular meaning of your life, and the angular stone, it's the happiness, man.
Mm-hmm.
And for some of you that are watching this video and you say, oh my god, now the world is crazy, I will invite you just to go back, just breathe slow, and for some moment uh, realize that now you are living the best time of human history.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't believe me, that's kind of right. Of course, is you're right. Go back and look for statistics, and for just very simple statistics: access to healthcare around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go
This.
back like 100 years ago. Access to education around the world. Go back like not just 100. Go back 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Access to communications. Go back 20 years ago. Access to utilities. Access to clean water.
Mm-hmm.
Concepts that in the last 40 years, just in the last 40 years, have changed countries like Senegal, where the life expectancy was like 48.
Mm-hmm.
Just 40 years ago, 40 years ago, the life expectancy was 48 years, and now it's like 68.
Wow.
And basically, yes, we are living the best time of all time. Of course, we have a income gap, and the richer getting richer. Yeah,
More to
that's
go, but
true.
yeah.
But we are in the time when having access to stuff, it's is a reality, and
Mm-hmm.
more and more and more and more people are getting access to the basic stuff: food, water, education, and healthcare, more than ever. And what are you going to do with that now that you have access to the form of a good living?
Mm-hmm.
If you are not, and I think this is something that we have to be aware of that, and that some people, and the many people, even more than 1 billion people around the world, they lack of some of those. So basically we have to work to let those people have access to that. But then what? That's the question.
Mm-hmm.
Now if you are that's a very simple stuff. If you are watching this video, you are not in that billion people,
Yeah.
because that means that you have internet, you have a computer, you have a smartphone, you have electricity in your house, or wherever you are. So basically, you are a person in a very good standard
Mm-hmm.
around the world, you know. But the question is, what are you doing with that? Uh, how do you create happiness? How do you promote happiness? And the first step is, oh my God, you have to sit and define what is happiness to you. Once you get the definition, my God, now you can start not just to be happy, but create happiness. That's my final thought on this.
Nice. Well, thank you. Yeah. Now I'm ready for a happy weekend. So
Oh my God, yeah, sure. Nah, Matt, it was so nice as usual, per usual. I really love these Fridays. Um, but I think creating this stuff, this makes me happy.
yeah, same.
I'm a
So
happy guy every time we talk, and every time we created this and we create this stuff and we put it on the web, because I know at some point we will help a lot of people.
yeah.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you
Thanks.
for being so nice.
Have a great weekend.
You too.